So we've seen a few motorcycle portable displays that offer CarPlay and Android Auto, and today we have a new one from Carpuride. This is the W702 wireless portable dual Bluetooth waterproof motorcycle stereo display. It's simply attached to your motorbike handlebars. You supply it power and you can have CarPlay or Android Auto on the display in front of you. So you can use it for navigation, media playback such as listening to music. You can also throw in a TF card inside so you can actually watch movies, obviously when you're not riding. It can be powered through the battery terminals on your bike to give it continuous power, or you can use a separate USB cable to have it powered through a USB device such as a battery bank, and that's what I'll be doing specifically in this video. Okay, let's check out what comes inside the box. Okay, so here's what you get inside the box. You get a manual that tells you how to install the display onto your motorbike handlebars, operate the CarPlay and Android Auto functionality, and explains how to play back media and connect to a Bluetooth device, whether it's in your helmet or in a communication device that's separate. You get the 7-inch display itself with its ball joint attached at the back and its power cable. You get the actual connection to your battery terminals and cable to wire to the display. You've got a handlebar mounting arm and a ball joint bracket to get the best position of the display on your handlebars. There's a wrench tool to adjust the nuts that attach to your handlebars. And you also get a spare fuse to put onto your motorbike once you've got all this connected directly to the power itself. Now there are a few additional options that you can actually use with this display. Here is a mount specifically for BMW motorcycles. You mount this to your handlebars. It uses the interface from your BMW to get the power, and then you power this onto the display. And as I said earlier, you can get a USB way of powering the display without having to use a direct feed to your motorcycle's battery. You could use a battery bank if you've got something that's waterproof, but it does have a waterproof connector to the display itself. It's just that USB end that you have to think about and getting that weather tight. Now, I don't have a motorcycle myself, but I will be trying this out on my e-bike. I'll be connecting up this display and sort of imitating how it might look on a sort of handlebar environment. Checking to see if the screen is actually good enough to display in the sunlight. Looking over the display then, it is a 7-inch diagonal display. It has a kind of sun shield on top, and it has what looks like some fairly chunky-ish bezels. It could have been a little bit smaller perhaps, but that's kind of like how Carpuride do their displays. It's fairly thin in its profile, which means it's not going to stick out at you too much, but then you do have to factor in the fact that this has to go into the ball joint adapter and how flush this can be nearer to your handlebars. So you do have to factor that in. This can be removed if you need to, or if you find a different way to mount this display, you can remove this section. There are two weather sealed compartments here. Obviously they're not easily accessible on the fly because they are screwed in. You've got a TF card slot there, and you have the ability to power on and power off the display on the side. There's nothing on this side, nothing on the bottom. There's no controls on top, such as like things like volume, which you probably might want to have. So that would have been nice to see on this display. You can see the power cable is well protected from the elements there, and you've got a weatherproof connector there to get this attached to either options that are available to power the display. And the whole thing is very light. It seems definitely robust to withstand all the wet elements there. We'll see how that works with the touchscreen display once we get this on our bike. So I'm going to connect the USB cable to the power adapter here. I'm going to plug in the 2-prong end into the power cable at the back there, and then connect this up. And when it's not in use, you've got like a little cap here. You can actually bring that over, and that keeps it weatherproof as well, should you have to disconnect this display for any particular reason. And for the sake of this whole review, I'll be using this battery pack to power this display. It has one USB-A output port, so I'm hoping that it gives it a significant enough charge to power the display.
A few moments later.
Right, so after a few issues of trying to get some power to the display, it turns out that I had to basically rotate. There's 2 pins basically. I had to turn those over, and once that was in there properly, it worked both on mains, and now it works with this as well. So we're now into the display. It's a good angled viewing display. You can see there. It's got kind of like a matte coating, so there's less reflection. You can see on the lights there, it's not fully reflective. It's got a little bit of a haze to it, so that's going to help with direct sunlight. We've got 8 options here. You can't really swipe up or down So you just got those 8 options. They should have really fixed that display to stop that from happening. And we've got some options, some quick fire options here. You've got home, changing the media and voice volume. You've got a graphic equalizer there, so you can have some predetermined settings there. Connection to Bluetooth. Then you've got brightness, which is down low. This is max it out there, which is good. And then you've got the ability to change the background, which I would put down in system settings. I really wouldn't have that as a key feature on the main top bar there, but that's what they've chosen to do. So that's it. Your clock hasn't updated itself yet. So let's go into settings. You can change the language between these languages. You've got restore factory settings and check what version that you're currently running. Wi-Fi, on, off Wi-Fi, that should be changed. You can turn Wi-Fi on and off if you don't want to have wireless CarPlay or Android Auto to work for any particular reason. Whether you want the Bluetooth to be discoverable, paired list of devices that have paired with it before, and you can discover a list of devices that are currently available. And that's basically it really. Somehow I can't seem to find how to change that time. There is no ability to change that time. That's crazy. Maybe once we get connected to CarPlay, it might update then. So you can turn the display on and off. Obviously the button on the side will also do one button to change the volume. You can hold it down to turn the whole display on and off. CarPlay and Android Auto, audio output settings, whether it's going to be Bluetooth from your phone that's connected to your earpiece or whether it's going directly to the actual display itself, I believe that is. Access to the phone once your device is paired with it, same for music, and here is where you would access the TF card that you've screwed into the side there, get quick access to media playback, for example. So we're going to get this paired up to the phone over Bluetooth. So we're going to go into Bluetooth here and search. Carpuride has come up straight away. You've got Carp, BT Trans and Carpuride. You basically need the lower one because the trans is for the audio transmission. So we're going to pair, allow that. So now we're into CarPlay. We've got high resolution here, full 10 icons rather than 8, so that's nice. So you've got high resolution display. I'd say the screen is a little bit fuzzy. It's not the best CarPlay display we've seen, but it is functional. Interaction is good. It's fairly responsive. It kind of mirrors their other models really. So the Wi-Fi band spec and sort of display is going to be very similar to their previous models. They've just put it in a waterproof housing for motorcycles basically. And let's see audio and how that plays back currently. So nothing at the moment. So we'll come out of this and go to audio output. So here's how you can potentially connect to a helmet. We don't actually have that, but that's now connecting the Bluetooth to my phone. And then from here, we can basically then connect to like a pair of earphones if you wear earphones on your motorbike, or you would then pair the phone to your helmet as you would have probably have done to your phone anyway. So this would then talk to this, and then this would then talk to your headset equipment that's in your helmet. And then basically, once you've got all this connected to your phone, connected to your helmet, all the microphone will come through the headset as well, because it's connected to the actual device rather than the display itself. The device, as far as I know, doesn't have any microphone input. That would be a bit crazy if you're on the move and it's going to use a microphone that's on the display. So instead that will use your earpiece or your microphone that's inside your bike helmet. Hi, this is Anthony from CarPlayLife.com, and this is an audio test using what I hope to be this microphone here, and that will mean that the microphone is being recorded from an earpiece once you've got it connected to the phone. Okay, so that basically confirms how the microphone is going to work with this whole entire setup. Once I get out on the road, I'll be using my Apple AirPods, which is going to imitate how my AirPods connect to the phone, and the phone basically casts the CarPlay display onto the display here. So with all 3 elements working together, this should all work in harmony with each other once everything is all mounted on the bike. We'll quickly check Android Auto. So we've got our Android device here. We've got to connect to a new Bluetooth device. Here it is. And we're into Android Auto there. Everything looks nice and crisp. Not again, the screen display is limiting the sharpness here. It is a slightly lower resolution display, but you've got the interactions there, which seems to be okay. And they all seem to be operating fine. Let's go into maps, do a bit of a wiggle. So it is all nicely interactable. and fairly responsive. Do a call delay test. Hello, 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 hello. Okay, solid pass on the call test. That is very minimal call delay there, so happy with that. So with all those things done, there's very little else you can actually do on this display other than view back the TF media card, and I'll show you that connected and playing back. So the next best thing now is to get this on my bike and I'll see how this works on the move. So let's get riding. Hey Siri, direct me to Bannings Vale. So I'm back from testing the Carpuride W702 portable motorcycle display, and overall my impressions is very good. Carpuride have done a great selection of displays anyway for the car, and they've packaged this all in a nice weatherproof casing, so it basically handles all the elements whilst allowing touchscreen and reducing a little bit of the glare whilst you're out in the sunlight, as well as giving you easy controls with gloves should you be using your bike with those too. Everything has been totally interactable whilst on the move without any problems. I tied it out with a few gloves as well, and it did work well with gloves too, thanks to the 7-inch display, which gives you a bigger real estate to interact with various icons from the main menu, as well as the system and status icons across the top there for changing the sounds, equalizer, changing the brightness, and so on. There are a few redundant areas such as changing the background as a primary button. I don't think that's actually important for this particular display. You could maybe house that button for something else. Access to the brightness and volume is quite important should your device or your connected microphone not actually support that. And you can also got the fast track option of one pressing the side button to interact with those voice and main audio levels as well, which is quite handy. Mounting the display was very easy thanks to the ball mount at the back and the various mounts that I showed you previously. It took a little while to mount the display centrally on my bike, for example. So if you do have lots of equipment or things on your handlebar stems of your motorbike, for example, the mount does have a longer reach to allow you to get this fairly central to your main handlebars. There's enough reach to make it vertically closer to you as well. So overall, even though the mount is quite minimalist anyway, it is quite versatile in getting the right angle on top of your instruments, for example, if you've got those on your motorbike. Now, obviously my e-bike doesn't have those kind of instruments, so it's quite easy to mount this essentially, but I'm pretty confident that you should be able to mount this in a location that looks good whilst also being responsive and reachable whilst on the move too. Android Auto and CarPlay run just perfectly, with all the sound coming to my connected Bluetooth headset, and with 2 Bluetooth options, I do feel very confident as well that they shouldn't have any issues connecting this to a Bluetooth enabled helmet, or if you do use earphones anyway, connecting to Bluetooth earphones will be pretty easy to do too via this display. I did have to slow down because obviously I'm not wearing a helmet on my bike to talk to Siri to enable CarPlay functionality, and the Bluetooth option at the top there does give you quick access to accessing the connected phones, as well as toggling between music and audio settings. So overall, there's plenty here to tackle any compatibilities with your helmet, its microphone, and getting the audio and navigation levels of volume tailored to just how you like it. I ran this off a battery whilst it was strapped onto my e-bike, and it ran without any issues. That was using the additional USB cable, which is powering it right now. However, you can do a more hardwired version with all the cables that's supplied with this display as well. So you've got 2 options there in getting this display powered. If you do run it off a battery pack though, you do need a good amount of voltage from that battery pack. Some battery packs I tried didn't actually work. This one from TripTech offered just enough power to get this display up and running without any glitches. So the Carpuride W702 wireless portable motorcycle display retails for $279.99. I'll leave links down below so you can learn more about this display, and you can use my coupon code as well to get you some money off the total price at checkout. There's not many motorcycle displays out there currently, with many piggybacking off the same architecture underneath, and it's just a different casing. This is my second display that I've actually reviewed for the motorcycles, and I'd say it's probably a little bit better, or maybe a lot better, due to the extra Bluetooth connectivity that it has, a bigger screen, and a nice display with a bit of a sun visor shield as well. All adds to improving your overall enjoyment and interactivity that you can get from strapping one of these displays onto your motorbike. So if you are looking for a CarPlay display for your bike, or for any other use really, because this could be used anywhere else on other particular vehicles, you might want to check this one out. Alright, thanks for watching, and I hope you found this video helpful. Give us a thumbs up if it has, and let me know in the comments down below if you have any questions about the W702 portable display from Carpuride, and I'll do my best to answer them. You can support the channel by sending me a super thanks along with your comment or question. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers. Bye.